All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack Hour. We're going to be talking some rankings. Corey and I are going to be debating our rankings also versus the ECR. Tune in to have AJ tell us who's right or wrong. We'll be right back.
The Fantasy Six Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bond and AJ Applegarth.
Touchdown! All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me tonight, as usual, Corey Pieper. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot here. You are my enemy this week. We already discussed that, but I'm off to a good start, so got to be a little happy. But a lot of week to go here. But, fantasy baseball. Still keep checking out the shows there for our show, but looking forward to talk some rankings against you too.
Yeah, man. And AJ, what's going on? You and your IHOP Scott Fishbowl 13 shirt.
That's right. Throwback.
Throwback. Yeah, it is kind of throwback at this point, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
A couple years.
Somebody reminded me.
Not my oldest throwback, but
somebody reminded me today with the Cracker Barrel switching their logo that for like 2 weeks, a couple of years ago, IHOP became the International House of Breakfasts, and I completely forgot about that. They switched to IHOB, and then that was like an outrage.
Oh, I remember that. I was one of the people that was pissed.
Did you see the Cracker Barrel stuff?
No, I did not.
I didn't see that. No.
Oh, so like they're a billion-year-old logo where the old guy's sitting on the rocking chair. They like removed the rocking chair, and now they're going to paint all the buildings white. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care, but apparently there's like massive outrage and their stock price plummeted today. So, good choices.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I did not know that, but I can see the outrage. Like every Cracker Barrel you go to, there's just 15 rocking chairs right out front and people sitting in them rocking.
It's like relaxing.
So, yeah, why are you going to take that away from
people? I like a consistency.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Rankings.
Yeah, rankings. So I guess before we jump into that, hit the subscribe, like button, comments, all that good stuff. You know the drill. Fantasy Six-Pack memberships are available. F6P pods, save 15%. Draft's right around the corner. Make sure you get in and get all the great tools that we've got there for you. And, yeah, man, I think we should just rock and roll. Let's do it.
All right. Well, since I don't officially do rankings anywhere, I will be hosting tonight and get to pick your brains to see why you agree, why you disagree, and basically, I will be the judge and award points, similar to Whose Line Is It Anyways? So we will see who wins.
Where the points
don't first,
where the points don't matter.
They matter. They always matter.
Nice pull.
Thank you.
They don't necessarily matter in a baseball categories league, but they matter. So, all right. So first off, I want to just start. I get your guys' opinions on a couple of just general ranking questions. And just kind of see where we're at with that. So, Joe, we'll start with you, but without giving away, all of your secrets that, come with those trophies behind you, what are some of the things that factor into your rankings?
So it's projections based, and then, I'm reading the tea leaves, man. I'm reading all the news, and of course doing these team training camp report check-ins that I do. These things are phenomenal, and like it just gives me like extra ammo to like tweak and move guys up, move guys down. I for a long time, and I don't know if consensus has flipped with me at this point, but for a long time, like for example, I had Firemouth ahead of Jonnu, and Steelers guy was like, Jonnu's going to be the pass catcher. Firemouth's still going to be involved, that kind of stuff. So just all this little extra information you get, and just constantly tweaking, constantly staying updated with things, not falling behind. And, just it's never just the one thing I always tell people who get into this is, so-and-so gets hurt. Like running back A gets hurt, right? It doesn't mean that just running back B and C get moved up. It's the whole team gets affected somehow, right? Receiver gets hurt, right? It doesn't mean that just all the rest of the receivers just move up. It means maybe there's more running back, the running backs need to move up as well. Like, you have to look at how it affects the entire team when you have injuries or depth chart changes and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it, but the base of it though is projections based.
Okay. Corey, how about you? Do you kind of follow that same line of thinking, or do you have some different ways that you like to put your ranks together?
Yeah. So I projected out on the fact that every team should have about 70 snaps a game. And then I go from there to how many roughly passes versus runs based on neutral game script. But some teams, and then I take into account the defense. People probably are going to throw the ball more based on the fact that their defense sucks and they're going to need to be in games more. So that type of a thing goes into it. And then from there, I just go off of the fact that once you know how many points or how many runs and versus passes in a game, you get a rough idea of how many touchdowns you can expect. We got to keep on the idea, like more so in baseball, you can make a 1-to-1 switch. Like one person can struggle and the other person just moves ahead of them. But in football, like there were some trades made this week. It doesn't just, they were both receivers. It doesn't just move receivers around. It means maybe the running back's going to get the ball 2 more times a game, which could mean 8 more yards, 10 more yards a game, something like that. So it's kind of it's a lot more involved in football than it is in baseball. But I also find it more like enjoyable to do football over baseball, just because it's kind of a fun jigsaw puzzle to keep it all balanced. So it's a long-winded way of saying that as long as you know what your like baseline amount of yards that you expect a team to get is, it's just a matter of filling in how do they get there. It's even easier in basketball because you know how many minutes per game every player has to play, and then you can just go off of minutes. But in football, you just got to figure out how many plays you think a team's going to make and go from there.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So next question up here is revolving around the rookies. So Corey, we'll start with you on this one. How do you treat rookies when you're putting your rankings together for them specifically?
So it starts off you have to look at draft capital, right? So a rookie who gets drafted in the first round, of course, gets a substantially more opportunities to prove that they are worthy of that pick than someone who's drafted day 3. And then it comes down to, okay, what's the depth chart look like in front of them? So those first round skilled position rookies, Ashton Genty was the first non-quarterback that got taken early. And if the Raiders are going to take him with 6th or 7th overall, they're planning to give him the ball often. So because of that, put him towards the top. And he's top 10 for both of us and top 10 for probably pretty much everybody. But then as you work your way down to second and third string or second, like day 2 guys, RJ Harvey earlier in the season, I was more into it because they didn't sign J.K. Dobbins and it looked like this is a clear running back 1. Well, then they signed J.K. Dobbins. And so then you readjust from there. Rookies are a lot of, you have to balance the excitement of what could be versus what is the actual opportunity. And because there's guys that were picked day 3 that I think are probably pretty good NFL players, but I don't know if they're ever going to get a chance to show that. So that's why rookies are tough. But I think it's once again, you just got to make sure don't get too excited on the talent when the opportunity might not be there.
Okay, Joe, what do you think about the rookies?
Yeah, it's very similar. You do have to look at where they got drafted, the situation that they're in. Jancy, right, is gonna just get fed the ball, right? We all liked a lot of these other rookies coming, these running backs. We loved the running back class this year, but a lot of them got put into very muddled situations. They're going to be split time. And so that's why you see them in that, back end RB2 range, somebody that has like super high draft capital, like Omarion Hampton, perhaps maybe a little bit higher just because you think they're going to eventually like go his way. Najee, I think at this point is maybe a little bit more than just a guy, but is he anything special? Probably not. Hampton just seems like way more electric, so you just kind of expect the talent to cream to rise to the top, right? Is kind of what you hope in some cases. Yeah, and I mean, then you've got to watch just the camps, the preseasons with some of these rookies and see how the team is utilizing them. Are they playing with the starters? Are they even playing in the preseason games when the starters aren't playing? Like, that's a big thing with these rookies too. If they are playing when the other starters aren't, then that's a bad sign, in my opinion. So there's a lot of things that go there, but it really is just you project them to have like the role like a normal veteran would if they like replace it, like Caleb Johnson, right? You expected him to replace Najee. You're just kind of maybe not expecting a 1-to-1 replacement there as far as Najee production, but like that's the role he's taking. So you project him in that role. And so that's what you've got to do. There's nobody else there that's going to take that from him unless he just completely falls flat on his face in camp, which isn't happening. So you just kind of keep him there.
All right. Makes sense. So the last thing we have here is kind of a similar question or opposite, because we're going to talk about the veterans, but specifically the established veterans that are changing teams. Joe, how do you factor these guys in?
Yeah, it's I think probably one of the best examples this year is like DeVonta Adams, right? And superstar in the league for many, many years. Last year didn't do so great, but was coming from pretty bad situations. I still think has some talent, but now going to a situation where he's going to be the de facto number 2 on that team. I think there's going to be weeks where he's going to obviously finish in front of Puka, but like I think overall, like it's expected that he's going to take a backseat to Puka Nacua a little bit, right? And so it's a little bit of the situation they're going into. Age plays a lot into it at this point. That he is a little bit older now, so you've got to factor some of that stuff into it as well. Like DeAndre Hopkins, right? When he just kept bouncing around, it was kind of like, I don't really like any of the teams he's going to. Is he actually still like talented enough to do it? Now he's with Baltimore. Nobody's interested. So you just kind of, he's not even relevant at this point in the rankings. So it's much of the same as like the rookies and really everybody else. It's, you're looking at their past production and you're looking at, age cliffs type of thing. And the scenarios they're going into and where they project on the depth chart. You've got to factor all that stuff in.
Yeah. Corey, what do you think about the vets?
I think the one thing, so I think guys probably started ranking guys and just like writing it down and things like that about 3-4 years ago. And one thing that I realized when it comes to vets is not a lot of them actually changed teams. Of the highly established players we think it is, I think among the top 20 quarterbacks this year, the only one who switched teams is Justin Fields. I think the top 30 running backs, the only one that switched teams is Jordan Mason. And then Joe mentioned DeVonta Adams. I think that's the only receiver in the top 36, and Jonnu Smith might be the only tight end in the top 20. There's just not a lot of veteran. And when an established veteran is on a team's not looking to let him go very often, right? So it just doesn't happen much. But like he said, DeVonta Adams is a future Hall of Famer. I think, you could drop him into pretty much anywhere. And until he doesn't prove to me that he can do it, I'm going to rank him like he can do it. And Jordan Mason, maybe not quite the same because I only saw, 4 good games. I like the Jordan Mason, but that's more of a projection on what I think his talent could be. So with these guys who are established, it's what have you shown me? And then I'll go from there until you don't show it to me anymore. That's kind of the way I look at veterans, because very few of them that have actually done a lot really change teams. It doesn't happen as often as we want it to. I guess George Pickens moved. I forgot George Pickens, his was trade, but
yeah, right. Pickens, you got Geno. I don't know if he falls in the
I just went outside. I was just going to the top 20. Yeah. I think he's a little outside of that. Right. Yeah, sure. Yes. Sam Darnold.
Cooper Kupp, same thing.
Diggs.
Outside, likely. Yeah, Diggs another one. So, but yeah, that's basically our bros in different area codes rankings. So, okay. All right. Well, let's jump into the fun stuff here and the actual meat of our little discussion here. And we will start off with the quarterback rankings. Basically, what we're doing here is picking a handful of guys and kind of measuring, where Joe has them ranked versus where Corey has them ranked versus the ECR. And for the simplicity of this and clarity, when I say Joe has this guy higher, that means it's a lower number. So it's like the reverse shooter thing in video games where you have to hit down to move your gun up. I hate that, but I'm going to do it. So here's where we go.
Interesting. All right.
QB rankings. Okay. So the first guy we got up here is Mr. Cowboy Dak Prescott. Joseph, you have him at a solid 11. ECR has him at 10, so they like him a little more than you. Corey, you're on an island here with a 19 for Dak Prescott. What is up with
Damn
that?
it. And we're the NFC East fans. What's going on over there, man?
Yeah. I guess I'm a hater. No. So some of it's the injuries, right? The hamstring last season held him to, was it 8 games, I think? He played the year before, and he was fantastic. He's awesome when he's healthy. The year before that, I think it was like 10, 12 games. He's battled injuries on and off as he's gotten older. He no longer runs. That's part of it, right? He just does not rush the ball. That was even pre-injury last year. I think he ran for, I want to say like 50 yards in 8 games. Earlier in his career, he was able to give you 200-300 yards. That's not part of it anymore. You're going to get the passing volume, but again, last season, 64% completion percentage. Yeah, maybe it would have turned around if he played the full season. Less than 7 yards an attempt. CeeDee Lamb was slowed coming off of it. They did add George Pickens. And so maybe we can get back to the classic Dak games, but there's some things here. Like, I don't love that he's becoming more of a check down guy. I don't love that he's not running anymore. I would also want to point out, while I have him at 19, that is the range of quarterbacks that I don't actually dislike drafting from. So I'm not opposed to drafting and playing Dak Prescott. That's how deep I think the quarterbacks go. He's usually gone well before I do it, so I don't usually get a chance to do it. But I would be okay playing him, mainly because they did get George Pickens, but their O-line is also still atrocious. I don't want Dak Prescott to get hurt again. There's just other quarterbacks in that range that I like more than him. And so because of that, he gets pushed down to 19, but I would be okay with him as my starting quarterback for week 1.
All right. Joe, any counter for why you have him where you have him at 11?
I mean, Corey just said he was started week 1, so did I win?
Well,
I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding. Sorry.
I guess.
Yeah, you could.
Kidding.
Yeah.
No. So look, my thing is like I get the injury concerns. Last year was a dumpster fire for the Cowboys. We do know that. And you mentioned it. CeeDee Lamb coming off that late camp injury was just not the same. Coming out right out of the gates. Dak was coming off late, an injury himself. Wasn't himself, and it was bad. I think that was Dell didn't really work out. The offensive line wasn't a big help. But man, we have seen the 2 years he's healthy near 600 passing attempts. Yeah. I mean, that's easily in the realm of possibilities again. We're talking 4,400 yards, 4,500 yards, easily in the realm of possibilities again. You bring in George Pickens, they extended Jake Ferguson. They want to sling the ball, man. Like, this is what they want to do. They brought in 3 running backs. I'm sorry, when you got 3 running backs, you don't have one, man. Like, they don't have a real running back room. Like, this is not going to work out for them. Everybody's like, oh, Jaden Blue. Like, I don't see it. Sorry. I'll take a stab in drafts on one of those guys. If there's just nothing else left I got to pick from, fine, why not? But I want all in on this passing attack, and it starts with Dak Prescott. I think we're gonna see a near top 10 finish. If not, I wouldn't be shocked if he finishes inside like the top 6, 7. I think he has that. He's not going to get up there with, the rushing quarterbacks, right? And I don't think he passes Burrow. So you were thinking like 6, 7, 8 range. Like, could he be Baker Mayfield this year? Why not? That's absolutely possible.
I mean, he's done it before, like where he's finished, at incredible numbers. He's had tons of touchdowns. Again, he was probably rushing more at that point, so that helped his cause. But as much as I hate the Cowboys, I do think Dak is going to be serviceable. I think he's going to be a solid quarterback. And if you're just skipping out on trying to go after one of those top guys, then he's a decent second fiddle to that.
Albert has a Dak question out in the comments there.
Oh, the little notifications aren't showing up for me. Thanks for pointing that out. Dak or Drake May? I mean, my rankings have Dak.
And mine would.
But again, if I pass on Dak and get Drake May, I'm not like beating myself up over it.
I have Drake May one spot ahead of Dak Prescott because I do think I think we can get 450 rushing yards out of Drake May this season. I think we'll be lucky to get 100 out of Dak Prescott.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I know we all like Drake May's passing capabilities, but is it better than Dak at this point? The weapons aren't nearly the same either. Like, Stephon Diggs is the best receiver, and he's 33 years old. Like, we really banking on that. Like, I know I'm okay with Diggs at his cost, and I think we'll talk about him later. But I don't like him being the number one weapon for Drake May. The offensive line there isn't good either. So, like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't know how. I don't know. I don't think the extra couple hundred rushing yards from Drake May is gonna surpass Dak with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Jake Ferguson.
That's fair. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, I might have to consider moving that. That's a pretty good argument.
All right, let's jump into our next quarterback here, and that is Sunshine himself, Trevor Lawrence. This one we're looking kind of in the same realm here. The ECR's got him at 18. Joe likes him a little better at 16, and Corey has him a little lower at 21. So, rankings are kind of all over the place on this one. Corey, why do you have him, basically right behind Dak? If you prefer Dak, not necessarily prefer, but if you're going to use Dak as your week 1 starter, is that the line where Trevor Lawrence is beyond it?
Yeah, I don't mind Trevor Lawrence, but I don't want to start Trevor Lawrence week 1 just because it is yet another new offense. I think Liam Cohen's a good offense. I think he'll be a good coach / offensive coordinator for this team. But I've been fooled by Trevor Lawrence before where I thought, okay, this is a new coach because it's got to be better, and it hasn't been. I want to see Trevor Lawrence run the ball more. I think that we can get that because Baker Mayfield had his best rushing season before, best rushing season ever under Liam Cohen last year. So if we can see that, I want to see it, though, before I play Trevor Lawrence. I think we can get 500 yards. I think we can get more passing volume. But I also know that as good as Liam Cohen's offense was based on incredible efficiency. And while I like Trevor Lawrence, he's never been as efficient as Baker Mayfield was. And this is a team that has not 1, not 2, but 3 running backs. And while Joe just said, like, if you have 3 running backs, you don't have any running backs. He just made that work last year with Tampa Bay, where they had Rashad White, Bucky Irving, and Sean Tucker to some extent. So now you have Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, and Bashal Tutin. I want to see, like, are we not positive they're not going to run the ball quite a bit here? I know they drafted Terrence Hunter early. I know they have Brian Thomas. He has great receiver. He might have the best duo of receivers in the league. That's possible. By the end of the year, we might be saying that. But I want to see it first before I trade Trevor Lawrence. So while I'm not opposed to having Trevor Lawrence on like a bench if I'm taking a second quarterback, I don't want to start Trevor Lawrence week 1.
Okay. So the line is drawn. Joe?
I don't want to start him week 1 either. I've got him number 16, so I'm not starting him there either.
But...
Unless it's a 16-team league, I don't want to start on week 1 either. So, yeah, I mean, but look, Corey, you made the point that I was going to bring up in that. So I talked to Dan Griffiths on those on the training camp report check in for the Jaguars a couple weeks ago at this point. I don't even remember now. Done so many of them. He specifically mentioned the fact that they are trying to like get Lawrence to scramble more, to run more. They're going to run some design little rollouts for him. He's got the athleticism to do it. He did it in college. So why he just stopped when he got to the pros is crazy. He has thrown, I believe, if I'm looking at it right, he's thrown for 4,000 yards twice. And so, like, we know he's got the arm to do it. He's got the receivers to do it. I kind of think Lawrence is one of my, like, sleeper picks this year. I kind of think, and we talked about him earlier during the sleeper show, I believe.
I think he was mine, but now
it was yours, and now you're hating on him, man. That is kind of funny. So I do think, funny enough, you mentioned Drake, like Albert brought up Drake May. I think Drake May is what Trevor Lawrence, like they could be almost the same quarterback, except the fact that Lawrence has done it before with 4,000 yards. I've never seen May do it, so let's see.
Is this the new Spider-Man meme where we have quarterbacks dressed up as Spider-Man pointing at each other?
Speaking of Spider-Man memes, that's kind of funny.
I always know.
Did we know that Trevor Lawrence's nickname is the Prince Who Was Promised? Was that a common nickname? Am I unaware of that?
What?
Per Pro Football Reference, William Trevor Lawrence. So first off, his actual name is William Lawrence, which is awesome. But apparently his nickname is the Prince Who Was Promised.
Huh.
Never heard that, but there you go.
I have not ever heard that, and I hope to never hear that again. No, that doesn't work. I prefer Sunshine. Much better.
The Targaryen hair.
He's got what?
The Targaryen hair. Prince Who Was Promised. Game of Thrones. Nothing.
Yeah.
See?
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, come on.
That's why I don't get it.
Oh, you don't get it then.
All right, well, then that makes sense why I don't get it, but still don't like it.
You
Never
are
get it.
kicked off the show, my friend. What's wrong with you?
See myself out.
Corey, new goal. We just need to have tons of Game of Thrones references all season long to piss off AJ.
It's not going to piss me off.
So he can just sit there with like a dumb look on his face.
I mean, that's
sit there with a dumb look on his face.
I think you should watch it during the season, AJ, and give us weekly updates on what you think.
Oh my God, I can't believe Jon Snow fucked that guy's sister. And it's actually his own sister. There. Plot explained. Oh wait, look, a dragon.
See, he's got it.
Oh my God, look at dragon.
I don't need to watch it. See, I already know everything about it.
That's good.
You're welcome. You're welcome, America. Right. Next guy up and last quarterback here is Mr. Jared Goff. Does he have a interesting nickname tied into, like, I don't know, the Jeffersons or something?
Mr. Perfect.
That's a wrestler.
Is it? Okay. That I didn't know. So Mr. Perfect.
Well, yeah, you're much younger than us, so that makes sense. But yeah. Joe, do you remember Mr. Perfect?
I remember Mr. Perfect. Yes, I do.
All right. Good. Okay, Jared Goff. Joe, you've got him at 18. Corey, you're all the way up at 13, and ECR has him at 16. Corey, why are you so much higher than Joseph?
So, again, I think when we did the bust, I think actually Jared Goff is a bust. But it's all relative. Like, it's relative to where they're going. So
we're just going to have to take those shows down and
just
take all Corey's parts out.
It's relative to what we're talking about. Like, in that case, he was going higher. And here we are sitting at 13.
Things have changed now.
I feel like
it really has.
I feel like we've now just said, okay, Jared Goff can't be successful. Since Ben Johnson's gone, there's no chance Jared Goff's any good. Like, well, got to be terrible. Oh, he's playing outside this season. Like, okay, yeah, I don't expect him to be as good as he was last season, but I don't know. Jared Goff threw for 4,000 yards with the Rams 3 times. Like, is he completely washed up? Yeah, okay. I don't think
he's had 2 of the best offensive-minded coaches
That is very true.
Him. The luckiest average quarterback ever.
That is true. He has had great coaching ahead of him. I'd not discount, I don't think because he's no longer with Sean McVay or Ben Johnson, he's suddenly just a scrub. I think he's going to remember what he's doing. And you just said before we started, Amon-Ra St. Brown is extremely consistent. Still has him. Jameson Williams still has him. Sam Laporta still has him. Jahmyr Gibbs. It's all still there, except for the offensive coordinator's gone. And maybe the new offensive coordinator comes in and says, you know what, Jared Goff, we're just going to ask you to manage this game. You're the new Daniel Jones. We're dumping it off 5 yards. I don't think that's the case. I think we're still going to get plenty usable games out of Jared Goff here. If you have to take him in the top 10, no, I don't really want him there. But if I can get him here at quarterback 13 for a guy who was, I think, a top 3 quarterback the second half of the season last year, yeah, I'm going to take that and take the chances that Jared Goff is actually a really good quarterback who had a perfect pairing with a great offensive coordinator, but he's still good with just an average offensive coordinator.
All right. Well, Joe, before you get to yours, I have to get this out because it was confusing and made me laugh earlier. When you said Jared Goff and bust, it sounded like you said jerk off and bust. So there you go. That's your childish moment for the night.
We're not able to air this episode, AJ. My God. What are you doing?
Yeah, whatever. Man? Family friendly.
No, it's not.
I have no comments on that one. I got nothing to say.
It is definitely.
I'm not the one who said it. I mean, I talk to him. He's the one who said it weird. So don't hate me. Hate the game or whatever.
I know that wrestler, in case you're wondering. That one I know. The game. That's Triple H.
Okay. Yeah.
See, that one I'm old enough to remember.
I know who Triple H is. I didn't know that he was the game. So, all right. Enough about wrestling. We're trying to talk football here, guys. Joe, anything to add for Goff, or do you want to just
I'm fine with Jared Goff as a quarterback. I really am. He's in this grouping of quarterbacks where, even with Trevor Lawrence, and it's just sort of yeah, whatever. He does. I get the fact that last season, Corey, you mentioned he was unbelievable down the stretch. I'll say this. Remember the Lions lost every secondary player they had. So they were just playing in shootouts the whole season. And so it was just unbelievable what he was able to do. I'll say this. Johnny Morton's coming in, and from what I understand, he is going to basically just be doing the same thing Ben Johnson did, right? Is he going to be as good of a play caller? Probably not. But they're basically implementing the same system. So I don't think there's a lot of changes there. I think it's just a lot of I don't know. I've got Jordan Love slightly ahead of him. Could I do that? Could I put him ahead of Lawrence? Sure. Then you get him up to 16. And then is he better than Herbert? Is he better than May? Is he better than Caleb Williams? And it's I don't know, man. They're all those guys are sort of just pick your poison at that point.
Yeah.
And so to me, Jared Goff, as I mentioned, I think he's just sort of a guy, he's sort of an average quarterback, right? And when you lose one of the best offensive minds in the game as your offensive coordinator, I think that's going to make a big difference. I really do. Period. So you get a knock from me.
All right. Sounds good. Well, that does it for quarterbacks. Let's move into the running back room here. And this one, I've just got to start. And this is going to be a little dig at you, Corey. You've got, nickname King Henry, if we're throwing out real nicknames here. You've got him down at 7. The man is a freak of nature athletically. He does not age. I don't care. He could be 52 and still putting up, near 2,000-yard seasons. He's just an anomaly. Yet you have him, let's see, behind CMC. Okay, I can kind of get that, but injury history. You've got him behind Achan, who's your man crush this year. So I get it, but he hasn't proven that he is better than Derrick Henry.
Also injured right now.
Exactly. And then you have our good pal rookie Gianti in front of him by 2 spots. So what the hell, man? What are you doing? What are you doing here? Is this old rankings? Are you just trying to punk us, or is this your actual sad feelings on Derrick Henry?
And I'm an Alabama fan, so this one hurts. No, I love Derrick Henry. Of course I love Derrick Henry. Joe took him at the back of the first round, and that's, I think, about where he should go, is the back of the first round. Yeah. It's the lack of passing volume. This is a half PPR league. It's the lack of a passing volume that, and I don't think that's going to change. They brought in Keaton Mitchell looks healthy again. Justice Hill's still there, so he caught.
Yeah, Mitchell looked really good in the first preseason.
Yeah, he did. So he had 19 catches last season. Now he's still going to lead the league. Like, it's kind of the reason that Joe dislikes Joe Burrow, because he doesn't think he's going to run. Is sort of the reason I dislike Derrick Henry, because I don't think he's going to catch the ball. Not that, I won't say I dislike Derrick Henry, but I don't think he's going to catch any passes. So he's as likely as anybody to lead the league in rushing attempts. He's as likely as anybody to lead the league in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. I think that's all very possible. You told me at 300 carries, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, I'd say sure. But it comes with 15 catches, 80 yards, something like that through the air. Whereas, I've hated on Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey cuts 100 passes. He's done it before. Like that is, and they don't have any receivers healthy other than Ricky Pearsall right now. So, other than that, Christian McCaffrey could be the second leading receiver on the team. He could lead that team in catches if he's healthy. Now, if he's hurt, that completely changes everything, and that's possible. Genty, again, he could have 300 carries this year. I think that's in there. They don't have anybody behind him that I trust. They're on the ball, so they're going to give him the ball all the time. We've seen Pete Carroll run players constantly, a la Marshawn Lynch. But even post Marshawn Lynch, there was Thomas Rawls, Chris Carson had fantastic seasons, and Ashton Genty's a better running back than those guys. I'm very confident in that. And he can catch the ball too out of the backfield. He was great at it at Boise State, and they're supposedly lining him up in the slot. So now you're really starting to get me intrigued if we're going to get some downfield routes out of Genty. And then Devon Achane, it's like a calf, which I don't love. I don't love that.
And that was CMC had last year.
It was. Yep, you're not wrong. It better not be the same
First
situation. I have a lot of Devon Achane,
and they're already saying oh, he'll be fine. This sounds very familiar.
Oh, I'm hearing it. Until I actually see it, I'm not going to knock him down. But realizing if it gets closer to the season and he's still, and indications are not looking great that he's going to play for a week or whatever, a couple weeks, I probably would be willing to bump him down. I don't know. It would probably get below Derrick Henry. I don't think I could move him below Jonathan Taylor. But beyond that, though, if he's healthy, I think we're talking probably 70 more receptions than Derrick Henry, 80 more receptions than Derrick Henry. And because of that, in a half PPR league, I'm going to take him ahead of Derrick Henry.
But that's the key. If it's a full PPR, I'm fully on board. I knock Henry down a little bit there because he doesn't catch the ball. You're not wrong in that. But half PPR, it's not as
so
big.
Little though. Yeah, it's not as big, but it's so little, man. You're talking about less than 20 catches, where those other guys can literally, any of those three could give you 70 plus catches this season. That's 35 more fantasy points. That's the equivalent of 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, but 35 points is what, 2 points a week?
Oh, yeah. Well,
is what you're looking at.
I've
lost games for less than that, but I think he makes up for it in the rushing yards. And if you have a league that randomly, gives you points for rushing attempts, that totally offsets it anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, that's completely different. So, all right. Well, that's all I wanted to bring in Henry to talk about him for. Joe, do you have anything on it, or can we go to the next guy?
I mean, I want to argue why I have him 4.
Next guy. All right, go for it.
No, AJ, you're right though. He makes up for it with the yards. Look, Corey, I know you're talking about half a point per catch. 70 catches, 80 catches, that's 35 points, 40 points. That's awesome. And I know he gets the extra yards. They get the extra yards that way too. He's going to run the ball 100, 150 times more than some of these other guys. So he's touching the ball more than them. He gets all the goal line, all the red zone rushes for the Ravens now. They don't run Lamar in the red zone anymore. When they're inside the 5, realize last year they didn't do it. They were just like, here you go, Henry, bye-bye. Yeah. And he just plowed his way in. they don't want to run the ball because they don't want to get him hurt. That's a good idea, by the way. You're just going to rack up easy touchdowns that way, in my opinion, with him. And so, yeah, he doesn't catch the ball. In a PPR league, I'm right there with you, Corey. I've got him ranked down at like 8 or 9, 7, something like that. I haven't looked it up, but he is below Achane right now. Of course, the injury will change things in a heartbeat. But you give a guy that many more just touches in general on an offense that ran the ball the second most last year, only behind the Eagles, which ran the ball an absurd amount of times last year.
Well, that's what happens when you Saquon Barkley.
I mean, Saquon and Derrick Henry, go figure, the two teams that ran the ball the most, right? And I don't think it's really going to change. I don't really think it's going to change very much. And so I just think the pure number of touches that Derrick Henry is going to get just gives him the edge there.
Yeah. Well, we know my feelings on it. So, all right. Next up here, we have J.K. Dobbins. Now, we've touched on him a little bit, so don't need to go too in-depth here, but this is quite the lofty difference. Joe is high enough on him to put him at 34. ECR is right around there at 37. Corey, you're at Ray Lewis here with the 52. Again, this is the number of the night, people. Go play the lottery if you still have time. 52 all day long. What are you doing?
Is he good? Like, are we sure J.K. Dobbins is actually a good player? And first off, is he ever healthy? No, he's not.
No.
Last season was the closest we got, and it was 10 games, 11 games we got out of J.K. Dobbins in the perfect rushing scheme. He went to the team with Jim Harbaugh, where he could get the ball all the time, and Greg Roman, right? The Chargers. Now he went to a pretty good one. I like Sean Payton. I think he's good at it. But they also went with R.J. Harvey here, who, I think J.K. Dobbins, when he signed there, lowered the ceiling of R.J. Harvey. But I still think he's a better running back than J.K. Dobbins is here. So injury risk for a guy that probably is not going to touch the ball all that often. I mean, what do we actually expect? We think it's going to be a split here? Because honestly, I think they're going to throw the ball mostly with Bo Nix. I think that is a 60-40 passing attack this season. So 40% of the time they're running the ball. And I think of that 40% of the time, R.J. Harvey gets the ball 65% of the time. So we're talking about, are we giving 160 touches to J.K. Dobbins? Because I think that's high. Like, I'm going like 135 touches to J.K. Dobbins this season.
I mean, the interesting part is that you have your boy Harvey at 28, while Joe has him at 22. So
I think they're passing the ball. I said I think this team wants to pass the ball more than they want to run the ball.
I have my PPR rankings up right now. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, you've got 22 compared to 34. So obviously both of you are higher on Harvey. I still think that Dobbins is going to start and be the initial season starter. And if he proves that he can have as much success as he did last year, maybe they kind of work Harvey in a little slower. They still got McLaurin there too. I mean, he's going to be more your passing down guy anyways. But it does hinge on Dobbins' health, and he has not been a healthy back for a long time until really last year. So
and his is another one. It was an Achilles injury. Like, I remember when DeMarcus Cousins was the best center in the NBA, and then he tore his Achilles, and then he was like out of the league in 2 years. Like, I'm not saying that J.K. Dobbins can't be successful, but I'm also realizing I think people are just really excited about what J.K. Dobbins could be in a system that Sean Payton loves to use multiple backs. He has multiple backs. He has a quarterback that he likes, that he handpicked to throw the ball. And they got him new weapons in Evan Ingram on a team that, like, a coach that used to throw the ball with Drew Brees. We've seen him throw it 650 times this season. I'm not sure that this isn't a team that wants to throw the ball a lot. And J.K. Dobbins is maybe the Mark Ingram in this offense, which Mark Ingram was great for New Orleans. But he also didn't have a Achilles injury and a history of injuries. So I just am not all that excited to take J.K. Dobbins ever.
All right, fair enough. Joe, anything to add, or are you good?
All right. I'm not excited about J.K. Dobbins either. I mean, I don't really want any of these guys down at 34, 35 range. But, like, I mean, I'm looking at the guys behind him. Like, do I really want Ramondre Stevenson ahead of him? I mean, there's Tank Bigsby. Like, he's in a 3-headed mess. Javonte Williams, we just talked about that. You know, there's just a ton of dudes behind him that it's like, eh. But, yeah, I mean, most likely I'm passing on it. But I do think there is enough there between the two of these guys that Dobbins can finish in, you know, back in RB3 territory. I do think talking with the Denver guy, it looks at least early on that it's going to be a 50-50 split between these guys. So at least early in the season, you're going to get a pretty even split. Does RJ Harvey, you know, start pulling away as the season goes on and he's got the fresher legs because he's younger? Sure. That's happened all the time with these rookies. But at least at the beginning, I think they're going to lean on the vet, as AJ kind of alluded to, and that's why you rank him higher. It's going to be very front loaded, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. The next back we have here is basically right behind. You mentioned these low 30s. That's Cam Skattebo for the Giants, another rookie runner. 35 for Joe, 48 for Corey, 40 for ECR. Just a couple quick thoughts because we've talked about Skattebo quite a bit this preseason. So, Corey, you're obviously the odd man out again. So,
I like.
You're picking on Corey.
I'm not trying to completely on purpose.
I'll defend it. Like, I like Skattebo too, but he's another rookie who's dealing with I think his is also a calf, right?
He came back. He came back to practice on Tuesday.
I know, but now we're talking about you have a week and a half here to get caught up to speed, and all indications are Tyrone Tracy has looked really good again. Mm-hmm. As long as Tyrone Tracy didn't fumble last year, it was not a question of Tyrone Tracy looking bad out there. He just kept fumbling the ball. So now he's back at practice. You have a week and a half to get caught up, maybe, but I don't think he's certainly not overtaking Tyrone Tracy early on in the season because of not practicing at this point. Mm-hmm. So, for at least what Joe's talking about with early on in the season in Denver, it being a split. Early on in the season, I expect Tyrone Tracy now to be 70% at least. And maybe Skattebo looks good and he slowly starts to eat into that workload. But at least initially, I don't have a whole lot of concerns about Tyrone Tracy now. I consider him pretty solidly an RB, back end RB2, early RB3. And Skattebo maybe gets there, but he's been hurt and he hasn't been practicing. So I don't really want to take him where he was going anymore. I'll take him lower than that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with you that I think it's going to be Tracy early. And Nick Filato over there from Big Blue Banner podcast says very similar things. The one thing that he has been turning heads, Skattebo has, is his pass catching. He's actually slightly he's actually looked better than Tracy catching the ball out of the backfield, running routes, just beating linebackers left and right, and just the way he can just get open and find space has been great. Tracy was a converted receiver, which everybody thinks, oh, that's why he's going to be the better pass catcher, but it's not. He's actually focused. He said what he thinks has been happening is that Tracy spent so much time trying to learn the nuances of the running back position, which he rightfully needed to do, that his pass catchings have got a little rusty. It's not that it's bad, but Skattebo has just he's turned head to really surprise people in that department. So you could see even Skattebo come in and catch some of those routes and those third downs, those pass catching roles that Tracy normally would have gotten. And maybe that's how he starts eating into Tracy's workload here. And I do think at some point this will just end up being a pretty even split. I don't think they're gonna. But I do think early on Tracy's the guy. But I have them super close. I think I have Tracy 29.
Yeah, you do.
Bam. There we go.
I have him a little higher than that, right? Not much, but slightly higher than that.
You're at 27. Yeah. ECR's 28. So look at that. All right there together. How cute. All right.
So, you didn't ever say who won these, by the way.
Corey.
It's in my head. I'll tell you at the end of the thing.
Okay.
Whoever makes the most references to stuff I don't know about is automatically losing.
Well, Daenerys Targaryen.
That's
she
Corey.
voted on her dragon.
Yeah. All right. The next one is a little. It's a little tag team here. Just want to get your thoughts on, and we've talked about these guys again, so we don't need to go too far in depth on it here. But just thought the rankings were a little interesting for these two. And that is the Minnesota tandem of A.A. Jones and Jordan Mason. Corey, you also seem to have a minor man crush on Jordan Mason. You've got him ranked at 35.
That hurts my soul that I'm below Joe. That hurts my heart that Joe's higher than me on Jordan Mason.
It absolutely should. I mean, Joe's basically just the guy in Indiana Jones, just ripping your heart right out of your body right now.
It does hurt my heart.
Jones is 28 for Joe, 24 for Corey, and 26 for ECR. So averages right there. Mason is 31 for Joe, 35 for Corey, and 32 for ECR. So again, everybody's kind of all in line here. But for as much man love that you've shown Jordan Mason in this preseason, you're like just doing him dirty here by basically saying, Aaron Jones isn't the guy, but my rankings say otherwise. What say you?
Initially, I think he's the guy. And I find it interesting that if you add both of them together, Joe's get to 59 and mine get to 59, which is like we see them fairly similarly here.
Yep.
I think Aaron Jones will start. I've said all along.
And ECR is 58.
Yep. I think Jordan Mason's a better running back than Aaron Jones. I've said that a few times. I think he will take over at some point, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. So I'm just looking at who I have ahead of him because it hurts that I'm below ECR. I'm not going to lie. That does hurt my soul. But like right above him, okay, Travis Etienne. I think there's a chance that he's the starting running back week 1 for Jacksonville, right? Now, could I move it ahead? Sure. 33, we're going to talk about Zach Charbonnet in a second here because I'm higher than him. I get that. I've said it before. I like him too. And then 32, I have at who's my 32nd?
32.
Do I not have a 32?
Najee.
Yeah, I could move him down, especially with his eye thing. But like I think that's the same area, right? Like these guys who are technically backups who are going to get work. They're all going to get work. I just don't know right away if Jordan Mason where it is, but I think give it 4 or 5 weeks, and I think we're getting closer to Jordan Mason to overtaking Aaron Jones. But 35, it's a little low. I still really like Jordan Mason.
And then you just mentioned Najee, so I'll bring in another wrestling reference here with John Cena. And can't see me because Najee has busted eyes.
Oh my gosh.
So, all right, that's good. Joe, do you have anything to add on the Minnesota tandem?
Yeah, I've got him a little closer because I do think it's going to be like. And when I talked to Cole Smith, the Vikings guy, he reiterated and kind of backed up my thoughts on this. And Corey, I thought it was your thoughts until just now. That it is going to be a bit more of a split. And actually, Mason is going to get a lot of the short yardage stuff. So you could see him in the red zone too, like near the goal line. He is the bigger back. And I did not realize how slight Aaron Jones really was until you saw them like side by side in a training camp picture. I was like, holy hell, Jordan Mason's huge and Aaron Jones is tiny, almost like a bear. Like, and he's not tiny, he's way bigger than I am, but like it's just crazy. But like you think like Aaron Jones last year saw a ton of touches, right? And he's now 30 years old, so you got to worry about that cliff. I don't think anybody's thinking he's Derrick Henry is going to like bust through this 30-year-old wall, right? But you think of the years in Green Bay where Aaron Jones was awesome. He split the backfield, and split the backfield plenty. Was he the lead guy? Technically, yes, but we definitely saw times where they split time. AJ Dillon, when he was still decent, was a guy who many thought was just going to take over there. So I think we're kind of back in that conversation again. And I think they brought in Jordan Mason and extended him for a reason, because they need to keep Aaron Jones fresh down the stretch. And that's what I think they're going to do. So they're going to ease off of him plenty, but he still will be the preferred option.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last guy we have here, Corey, you already mentioned it, and that is Mr. Zach Charbonnet. So you've got him down at 33. ECR is at 34. And Joe, you are soured on the Charbonnet. Are you more of a Riesling guy? Is that it?
I am, actually. Thank you very much. I mean, like, when Kenneth Walker is healthy, Zach Charbonnet is not a useful fantasy option. Let's be real. He's just not.
Yeah.
Clint Kubiak.
Every now and then he'll score.
Every
now and then doesn't matter. Every now and then. Okay.
That's the reason that I'm on it. Like,
okay. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not buying in on it. I think they still lean heavily on Kenneth Walker. I like Charbonnet if I thought he would get more of the work. I just don't know if I trust it.
I think he touches the ball 12 times a week and averages 50 yards a week and a touchdown. I think he can go for like something like that. 12, like 600, 700 yards and 7-8 touchdowns, even if Kenneth Walker's there every week. Just because I think that's how much they want to run the ball. And I've watched them in the preseason, and they look awesome at doing it. Whether it's Zach Charbonnet, whether it's Kenneth Walker, whether it's Damian Martinez, it doesn't matter. They look awesome at running the ball, and I think they're going to run the ball all the time. And I think Zach Charbonnet, if Kenneth Walker isn't there, Zach Charbonnet would go in the top 2 rounds. I think he's that talented.
I don't agree.
I agree with that. Yeah, I've been a fan of Charbonnet. Again, I'm a little I'm more into the Reds now, but Charbonnet is, I mean, he's good, man. He's good out of the backfield, catching the ball. He can run when he needs to. It's just that he's, blocked out by Walker and, his talent. So we'll see what happens there. It looks like we do have a couple of comments and questions if we would like to throw them up.
I don't know why the comment, Corey, if you're getting the little notifications, they're not popping up on my
YouTube ones.
Okay. Can I show it? Oh, I can. Look at that. Skattebo or Corey Krosky Merritt, which should be BCM because he wants to be Bill Krosky Merritt.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, who the hell is this Bill?
Yeah, I had to kind of.
Is this another new guy I don't know about or something?
Yeah.
So I actually have Corey Krosky Merritt higher than Cam Skattebo. I have him at 45. I think you could move it up though. Like, I might move that up even higher. We'll talk about the Brian Robinson trade possibilities later in the news, but I think that we could be seeing like 15 touches right away per week out of JCM there. So I'd be willing to move him like maybe up into the low 37-ish range, maybe even. So
I'm hesitant to do it. Look, Robinson's not gone yet. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on that.
He's not even going to the preseason games, man. Like, they're not even there.
I mean,
he wasn't even at the last game. Like, I don't see how this does not feel like this is something where he's coming back. I mean, but you're closer. I mean, you're living in Washington. That's your team, buddy. Like, maybe you know more than I do, but it doesn't feel like this is something that's getting resolved anytime soon.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty. What is it with Washington and just like ruining their players, making them not want to play there anymore?
I don't know.
Send them north a couple hours. We'll take them in and just win another Super Bowl.
Since he would do so much for them to help them win a Super Bowl, that's what they need is a running back.
Hey, you never know.
I don't know, but I mean, like,
I was alluding more to McLaurin, but
I don't think that. Also, Krosky Merritt is just like immediately the guy. I mean, we also got, not that I think he's awesome by any means, but like Chris Rodriguez still hanging around. Still got Austin Eckler, right? I think there's still a cap on Krosky Merritt. He's still got to prove that he can pass block, right? So that's going to be a big thing for him. Skattebo apparently has done really well in camp already too. So that's already a big plus for him. I have not heard much about that from Krosky Merritt. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what's going on. I'm hoping in the next few days we finally figure out what's going on with Brian Robinson and Terry McLaurin, because it is driving me absolutely nuts. Like, either just get rid of these guys and just bring in other people, or just bring them back. Let's just do this. Let's just run it back with these guys. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Do you think there's any chance Debo gets handoffs now? I pretty much poo-pooed that earlier when they first traded. Do you think there's any chance Debo gets the handoffs?
I don't really think so. That was a couple of weeks ago before all this stuff started going down. But the guy that I talked to was like, they're not doing that with Debo. They're trying to keep him healthy. They might run some screens and quick slants and things like that. They want to get him the ball short, but just out in front. Just they don't need to be doing that. Yeah. Anyway.
12 team PPR, 3 keepers. Keepers are the first 3 rounds. Trade AJ Brown. He or Jaden Higgins, one of the Higginses, and around 11 picks for the 3-1. He won. So Marion Hampton, his keepers would be Gibbs, Brian Thomas Jr., and Chase Brown. Around 11 pick for the 3-1.
I mean, I like his keepers as is. If he's not keeping Brown or T. Higgins, I'd maybe keep one of them, assuming it's T. Higgins and not Jaden. It's got to be T.
Jaden. It's probably rookies, so I guess he can't be keeping Jaden Higgins. So it's got to be T. So
I don't mind. I don't.
I don't think I would do that.
If you can only keep 3, and you're not keeping AJ Brown and Higgins, right? Which, I'm sorry, I'd be keeping Higgins over Chase Brown. And going
AJ Brown. I'd be keeping AJ Brown over Chase Brown. So
I would keep.
I would keep both of them over Chase Brown. Not gonna lie.
I love Chase. I like Chase Brown. I'm not saying that, but those guys are better. Sorry.
Yeah, especially in full PPR.
But
here's my other thing is, why are you going to target a third running back? Do you only need to start one receiver? This is kind of a bizarre. This whole thing is kind of bizarre to me. But I get trading away valuable assets like that to get a better pick. Seems a bit pricey though. I feel like throwing back to the well and hope that one of them falls to you.
And then the last one here, he's a handcuff. If you draft Kenneth Walker, you can draft him to punish him to get him. And I think I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying that Zach Charbonnet he's one of the best handcuffs, but I think he can be more than that too. I think he can be more than just a handcuff. I think he can have standalone flex value. And so that's why when I say 33, that is literally flex value. And I think that's what he can do for you. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to handcuff him to Kenneth Walker, sure, he's the most important one, but I think he's more.
Yeah.
Receivers?
Okay. Let's dip into the receivers here. And we will start off with another high number here, and that's Puka Nacua. We've got Joe has him at 4. Corey has him at 8. And ECR has him at 7. Joe, it looks like you're the odd man out here. So, I mean, you're super high on Nacua. You know something we don't about Stafford?
I mean, he's back in practice apparently, so let's go. I mean, look, I've said it before the show when I realized you put him on the list, and I was the high ranker here. He's in this grouping of tier 2 receivers that it's kind of it just take your pick, man. It doesn't really matter to me. Right now I like Puka a little more. He's just such a target hog, and I know Adams is there, but I just think both of those guys 1-2 are just going to be incredible. They're going to get so much of that passing volume. There's really nobody else there that I care to catch the ball. So I think Puka is easily number 4 for me right now, and But you want to take Nico ahead of him. You want to take Neighbors ahead of him. Neighbors is dealing with an injury right now himself, so that's kind of a man. He's back.
He's back at practice too, right?
He's back, but I mean, he's been dealing with. He's got a couple of different injuries here this camp so far. Brian Thomas Jr. You can put him behind all those guys, and I wouldn't fault you for it. I think they're going to finish all like that close. Like it's super close, but I do like Puka. That he's been so good.
Yeah, Joe's not wrong about any of that. Like it's a tier, right, of about 6, I think, receivers roughly in that range. And if you want to, however you want to.
Collins, Roger, Drake London, AJ Brown.
Right. Yep. So like
6 or 7.
Malik Neighbors, Nico, Puka, Brian Thomas, Drake London, and AJ Brown are what I kind of have in that roughly in that range. I like Malik Neighbors more. I think that like literally I like Wan'Dale Robinson, but he is not DeVonta Adams, right? So I think Malik Neighbors just gets so many balls thrown to him that he will finish 4 for me. That's who I have at 4. Nico Collins, once again, I don't really worry about the rookies on the other side. I think Nico's just the man, so I have him slightly ahead of Puka. Brian Thomas Jr., I know they added Travis Hunter, but I saw how talented Brian Thomas is. And then I like Drake London because I don't really worry about anybody else in that offense really taking a bunch of targets. And then I put Puka after all of those guys. That's the difference. Is I just find that I don't worry about like. I think each of those players, if you told me they had 170 targets, I would say sure. And Puka Nacua could get there. I could be dead wrong on that. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think it's more like 155 targets for him, just because DeVonta Adams is on the other side and is a future Hall of Fame wide receiver, and the other ones have Kyle Pitts, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Travis Hunter, who could be awesome too. But that's the difference.
Puka had 160 with Cooper Kupp on the other side, and I know Kupp missed a few games that year, but there you go.
Yeah,
he was still seeing that
he's
volume.
Very good. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah. All right, next guy up here, we have Mr. Sausage Egg McLaurin, who we were just previously chatting about. He is at 20 for Joe. He's at 29 for Corey, and he's at 19 for ECR. So, Joe, why are you right in line with ECR on this, knowing that he's got this contract garbage going on?
Yeah, I still just think they're gonna figure something out. I can't. Plus, look, let's be real. Terry McLaurin, the only way that if he doesn't get a contract, the only way he doesn't play is if he sits. We've seen how that works out for people. So I don't think Terry McLaurin is that stupid. I think they're eventually going to get this done. Is it going to be exactly what McLaurin wants? No, but I do think the Commanders will eventually have to give a little bit on their we're only going to 28 million or whatever it is, and they're going to have to figure it out. At least I hope so, but I don't see how you can go into the season without Terry McLaurin as the Commanders. So I'm ranking him as if he's good to go.
And
Corey,
I'm not.
you seem
I mean,
to
that's
be
the difference. And I'm not. If he signed his contract tomorrow, could I bump him up to where Joe is? Yeah, I would. But right now we're less than 2 weeks away from opening kickoff, and he just got off PUP, and it looked like maybe we were making some progress, and he's back to standing on the sidelines, I believe, at most of these practices and just kind of watching. So until something happens, I'm going to keep him down at 29 and know that I probably won't get him anywhere, and I'm fine with that, because until he's actually practicing and I feel confident he's going to start week 1, I don't know. It could be 3 weeks. It could be 4 weeks before he signs that contract. He might not play. I hope he does. He's awesome. I love Terry McLaurin. But until I see it, I'm going to keep him down in the range where I probably am not going to get him anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. So I'm not actively targeting him right now, even though he may be at a better cost until the news breaks. But I just don't want to deal with the situation. So I'm kind of staying away from it altogether. All right, next guy up here, we have Skinny Batman Mr. DeVonta Smith from none other than the Philadelphia Eagles World Championship team, aka the Dagger. If nobody knows about that, you should look it up. Joe, you've got him at 25. Corey, you like him a little better here at 19. And ECR has got him in the middle, you guys, 23. Corey, what's I'm going to start with you because you actually like him. So let's hear why.
I just think he's really solid. I think he gets consistently undervalued, kind of like what happened to Terry McLaurin for years, where he would finish as a top 20 wide receiver, and we draft him at like wide receiver 26 the next year, and then he finished wide receiver 18, and we draft him at wide receiver 26. And okay, so DeVonta Smith just finished at wide receiver. I think this is PPR rankings, but he just finished at
half was 24,
and we're drafting him basically in the same range. Can it get? And that says playing 13 games, or is that per game?
That was 13 games. 13 per game, he was 17.
Yeah, and we're drafting him beyond that again. I don't think much is going to change here. When he's healthy, he's going to catch 6 to 8 passes a week for 70-ish yards, throwing some touchdowns. Now, they're not going to run the ball anymore. They possibly can't. Like, I don't think they can run the ball more. So if we add a little more passing volume into this offense, I think DeVonta Smith, probably does kind of what we expect him to do, and that's offers a very good wide receiver 2 value.
Yeah. Joe, what's your beef?
He's an Eagle. No, I'm just kidding. I just lost the game.
Game over, man.
It's look, it is the fact that it is a very heavy run offense, and so you do rely on a lot of touchdowns for him to kind of stay afloat. And can he do it? Yes, because it's a very efficient offense. But if any of that efficiency drops off at all, I think that's where Smith gets knocked down. AJ Brown is, to me, a pretty clear 1A in this offense. He does see a more number of targets than DeVonta Smith does. And look, out of the two, when the team isn't passing, it is not DeVonta Smith that yells and screams and then gets the ball thrown his way. It is AJ Brown. So DeVonta Smith is just like, we're winning games. I'm good. And he doesn't care. So he's just going to do what he needs to do. He's a good team player. He signed a pretty team-friendly contract, apparently. So that's what he's there for, and good for him. Kind of wish there was more players like him out there. But
if only Terry McLaurin was like him.
No kidding.
Exactly.
I mean,
burn.
There's a lot of guys above him. Could I put him above Cortland Sutton? Sure, but Sutton's the one there. So I'm gonna go there. Could I put him in front of Worthy? Sure, but with the Rashee Rice thing, and we know he's going to miss a bunch of time, I bumped Worthy ahead of him just slightly. There's a couple of guys can mix and match with him, but because they are the number one for their team, that's why you slot them ahead of Smith. The only number 2 that I've got in front of him on teams are Higgins and Adams, who I just think, it's those guys are in a different tier.
Yeah, well, I disagree completely, but
okay.
I mean, he's a model of consistency. I get that.
I think he's good.
I get that he doesn't get as many targets as AJ Brown does, but he's a team first guy. He is. Heisman Trophy winner, Super Bowl champion. He's got so many ridiculous award things that nobody else has done. And he just goes out and he plays and he catches balls, contested throws all the time. Some inbounds, some out if you're not an Eagles fan, or the 49ers. I mean, that's what he does. He just goes out, he balls out, and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything stupid. He's just a great player. And this is the Dagger card from Jordan Spector, artist here in local to Pennsylvania, Philly area. got a bunch of his cards back here in various locations, but yeah, this was my latest one. Was the DeVonta. It is called the Dagger. So
I think one of my issues with DeVonta Smith and why I probably rank him lower is the fact that we want to say he's consistent, but then like you look at his game log, right? We've got wide receiver 8-11 finish, then a 75 and a 55, and then he got hurt, but then it was 27-6, 48-3. It's just like, man, the weeks he doesn't score touchdowns, he just doesn't get enough volume to really carry it, right? To where some of those other guys ahead of him do. That's what that's what gets me. And so will he ultimately rank or finish higher if he plays all 16, 17? If he plays 16, 17 games, will he finish higher than 26? Maybe, probably, but I also do rank a little bit of how I would draft, and I don't want to draft a guy who's up and down quite like that as my wide receiver 2. I want somebody who could potentially be better.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like I obviously, again, I love DeVonta Smith. I also have his jersey, the Super Bowl jersey that I got was his. He's a great talent. He is a clear, 1B in this offense. It's like the Chase and Higgins and, I guess you could say CD and Pickens at this point, but I don't know. I think he's better than Pickens. But yeah, I agree with the touchdown dependency is pretty glaring. The other glaring thing that I just kind of looked at and picked up on is he doesn't really have any 100-yard games. He had 2 last year, and they came in week 15 and 17. It's
hard to get yardage when Saquon Barkley's got 200 yards a week. Like it's
true. It is.
Listen,
it is.
I just don't think the running game can be as efficient again. That's the thing. Like, and because of that, I think the passing game can be. They can still be excellent and finish 5th in rushing yards, and that's an extra. 400 passing yards that can go between A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. That's the way I see why they can bump him up here. Look at Kyle sucking up to A.J. in the comments. A.J. in half PPR, I have DeVonta Smith at wide receiver 17. Is that high enough for you? Well, you beat me by 2 spots, and I was the high guy in this one. So good job.
I would say so. Thank you, Kyle, for seeing things the correct way. Kyle wins the night, obviously. So again, we can just end it now and carry on.
Kyle, the prince that was promised.
Don't take that shit from him, Kyle. All right, next and last receiver that we have here is Calvin Ridley in Tennessee. He is at 26 for Joe, 28 for ECR, 33 for Corey. Joe, we'll go back with you on this. Like, why are you so much higher? I mean, not so much higher than ECR, but clearly a good chunk higher than Corey.
Does anybody realize he has had 1,000 yards receiving in the last 2 years with absolute, quite possibly the worst quarterback play in the league?
This is so dumb. Like, we did sleepers a month ago. He was my sleeper. At the time, he was ADP 41. And I literally said that. Now he's up here, and now I look like I hate this guy. Like, just because he's moved way up. Like, yes, let's talk about that.
It's every single person. Ridley, you got Jordan Mason,
like
Skattebo,
all these people.
like
I
all the
had
people
him
we
as a
talked
sleeper,
about.
and now he's way higher. Now it looks like I hate. No, I like Calvin Ridley.
Time
too.
to catch up, Corey. Jeez.
I guess, but like, yeah, I did.
No, we talked about it. We talked about it. Yeah, 1,000 yards the last 2 years with terrible quarterback play. Cam Ward can't possibly be any worse. At least I hope he's not. Right, and so
definitely not worse.
Calvin Ridley is. I mean, yeah, they brought in Tyler Lockett, fine, but man, they've got nobody else there but Ridley. Let's be real. And so this is going to be Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley. So I think, yeah, wheels up, man. Let's go.
I mean,
and the other thing there is,
say, like,
yeah, I mean, it's fine. You don't have to explain yourself for being wrong.
I'm not even wrong. Like, I think I said all this. Like, I think he's one of the safest players.
That's why I went
in the league. Like, but I don't know. Can I really push him that high on a quarter? I want Cam Ward to be awesome. We haven't seen Cam Ward take a snap in the NFL. Like, so I think he'll be great. I think Calvin Ridley lead his team in targets. I don't know if I want to push him up into the top 30 yet, though. Like, but yeah, I think he's going to be great. But I don't know. I feel like he's just moved up a lot really quickly here.
You got Flowers right at 31, Judy 32. Trying to find your 30. Ridley is your 33. Right behind him, you got Pearsall and Olave 36.
Ooh, you got Pearsall higher than me. That was my boy.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I could move him ahead of Zay Flowers, Jerry Judy. Maybe because I just detest the quarterback play in Cincinnati or in Cleveland, excuse me. So yeah, maybe I can bump him up a couple. But like, who does Joe have right up ahead of him? Like, who's or right around
right ahead of him or right behind him?
Right behind him
is DeVonta Smith. Right behind him is Jameson Williams, George Pickens 28, Waddle 29, Flowers.
I can't get him ahead.
So
I can get him up to. I couldn't get him ahead of Williams, Pickens, or Waddle. So like,
see, those are number twos for me. So like, you gave me the number one on that offense. I mean, I'm gonna take it. That's passing volume, man. That's what I want. J-Mo's awesome, man. Me and Dave Eddy have had arguments over this. Dave Eddy thinks I like hate Jameson Williams, and I don't. But he's like him and DeVonta Smith. They're very similar players to me, but J-Mo's like even less consistent with
more upside.
Yes.
Yep.
So like, it's just those players.
This is weird. Like, go back and listen to our team construction because I feel like we're not really all that off on this. Like, if I have a team that's already got a bunch of safe players, give me Jameson Williams. If I have a team that's already got a bunch of risk, like give me DeVonta Smith or give me Calvin Ridley. Like, a lot of this in this range is like you have to consider what your team is already built around.
Yeah, and the problem is though is that like it's not easy at wide receiver 27 even where he's going total ADP here. Jameson Williams, that is it's not easy to have a bunch of like consistent, safer players in front of him because you probably have only had like 4 picks. So like you're just gonna have to take the chance.
Yeah. On to tight ends.
Yeah.
Unless we have somebody else with something else to say.
Go a little quicker.
Yeah. No. Let's do tight ends here. So the first guys I have here listed it's another little pair, and it's the Baltimore pair. Of Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So, Joe, you're sitting at 6 for Andrews and 19 for Likely. Corey, you're at 9 and 24. ECR is at 7 and 21. I mean, you guys are pretty in line on this. I just the reason I wanted to mention it is because of the disparity between the two of them, between Andrews and Likely for you, Corey. It just seems, again, I don't want to use the term hater, but it just seems like you're drinking a lot of the haterade and not the Kool-Aid. So
as I mentioned in my dislike of all things Baltimore, just like everything about Baltimore, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, they're all awful. No, of course not. Like I think Isaiah Likely is very talented. He's also injured right now. I don't think among some of the players we talked about, I feel very confident he's not going to play week 1. Could he be back after that? Sure. I don't know what even a second wide receiver or tight end, as talented as he is, am I ever going to pick up and play Isaiah Likely feeling confident? I highly doubt it. So tight end 24 and Mark Andrews, I can make the case that Mark Andrews, it was all the car accident early in the season, and that's why he looked so pathetic the first half of the season, and he got healthy, and that's why he looked better after the bye. I can also make the case that the only thing that really changed was he caught a couple more passes, and every week he caught a touchdown. And maybe that continues. I'm not going to bet on it. I don't think he's going to catch a touchdown, 16 of them this year and score a touchdown every week. So I find him to be a tight end, like a touchdown dependent tight end, which bumps him behind guys that I think have a better chance to catch targets in their offense. And in that case, it's, I think Tucker Kraft might get the ball more than Mark Andrews in his offense. I think Travis Kelce is going to get the ball more, and I think Evan Ingram will. So that's probably the guys that I have ahead of him that Joe doesn't. That's just the difference. Is I think Mark Andrews is more touchdown reliant than he is volume, and I don't want a second tight end on any team, even one as talented as Isaiah Likely.
All right. Joe, anything else, or are we good?
He's not wrong. I just think that because a lot of the touchdowns in the passing game do funnel through Mark Andrews, I do think he's probably the one tight end that you can trust to have, another 8, 9, 10 touchdowns and be fine with it. And I do think there's going to be more volume going his way just because he's going to be healthy the whole year, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like both of these guys. I think they're both, solid options in this offense. But again, it's not a pass-heavy offense. We've, drilled that in over and over again. So the fact that Andrews has the trust is helpful, and he is, a big red zone threat. But Likely is kind of coming on as a red zone threat. He was the one in game 1 last year about, against the Chiefs that was the first one was a catch, and then the other one just wasn't. So, but he's got plenty of talent, and I think he can easily take over the Mark Andrews role if he needs to. But all right, so. And then we'll skip the last couple tight ends here. They're late round throws anyways.
How would you value DeVonta Adams while Stafford's status seems up in the air? Seems like a risk at his ADP. Well, Joe has DeVonta Adams at 17, which is right in line with ECR, and I am at 15, which is a couple higher than ECR.
Mm-hmm.
Joe mentioned we're talking about Puka, I'm not really all that concerned yet. There's some good signs happening with Stafford now in the recovery process. I think he's going to be good to go week 1. And as long as Matt Stafford's the quarterback, he is going to absolutely funnel the ball to Puka Nacua and DeVonta Adams when they're on the field. If they throw the ball 30 times a game, I expect 18 targets a week to those 2 wide receivers. I don't know if that's 9 and 9, if it's 12 and 6 some weeks. There might be weeks where DeVonta Adams is better than Puka Nacua and vice versa. I am perfectly fine as DeVonta Adams as a wide receiver 2. Joe, anything else?
I agree. No, I agree. And yeah, I mean, he's taking full practice reps, so sounds like Stafford's well on his way back. So I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's do some news.
All right. Yeah, let's do the news. We are gonna just kind of rip through some of these and then go from there, and we'll each pick one or so to talk about. So the first one we got here is Quinshon Judkins is still unsigned, and they are waiting for the NFL investigation to commence. So that is, I guess, kind of the same thing we were talking about last week. Danny Dimes is apparently QB1 in Indy. Fire up those QB3 roster spots. Jalen McMillan. Yes. Jalen McMillan, severely strained neck, will miss at least the start of the season.
Oh, he's gonna miss more than
we
that.
Already know. Yeah, we already know that Godwin is potentially injured and dealing with that. Brian Robinson trade, JCM, we kind of already touched on that. Demarcus Robinson is facing a 3-game suspension. Devon Vele was traded to New Orleans, and Sky Moore, who cares, was traded to San Francisco. They needed a healthy receiver, so I guess the sky is the limit.
Desperation.
Godwin is actually off the pup, but he is still unlikely to play until October. And Jalen Polk is out for the season. So I will start with the McMillan and Godwin talk here. You know, these two injuries basically just completely open the door for Emeka Egbuka I totally butchered his name. Let me look at it again.
Man,
maybe not.
Who are you, me?
Puka. Yeah, seriously. No, I was good. I was good with that one. All right. Yeah, I mean he's their their rookie pick this year out of Ohio State. He's obviously in a high power college offense, and he's coming in to play with Baker, who was reborn in Tampa Bay. So I love Puka this year. I think I already liked him before all this injury stuff was happening. He was a much deeper sleeper for me, but now, I mean, he's climbing way up draft boards.
Yeah.
And the opportunity's there. I mean, he's got really Mike Evans in front of him, and that's basically it. They still have Sterling Shepard, apparently, Trey Palmer, Raheem Jarrett. Like, none of these guys really panned out into anything. Sterling Shepard had like a 2-week, 3-week stretch of semi goodness. The other guys are just guys. So I think they went out with purpose in drafting Emeka, and I think he's going to be a solid play for them and kind of help Baker continue on this upward trajectory this year.
I already talked about Brian Robinson, so I won't go there because honestly, I just don't really know anymore. Vele going to New Orleans is interesting. I don't really think it does anything for New Orleans, and actually, I think this crushes Vele's value at what kind of little he had anyway. I thought it was decent, but it wasn't great over there in Denver. But I think a lot of people are going to go, "Oh, Marvin Mims." I don't think Marvin Mims' role changes at all. I think this is a Pat Bryant move. I think they really like what they've seen from Pat Bryant, and I think they're going to get him the ball. I know a lot of people want to talk about
I was going to talk about Troy Franklin there, so
right, yeah, Troy Franklin. I know a lot of people were talking about Troy Franklin,
yeah.
But I don't think there's a lot there with him either. I think this is Pat Bryant, man. I really do. Maybe not right away, but I think we're going to see it throughout the season. Pat Bryant's going to get more and more involved.
Yeah, maybe. I said, and that's another one. You just got to play. Like, all those guys are going so late. Just pick one. Pick Marvin Mims, pick Troy Franklin, pick Pat Bryant, pick one of them, and one of them's got to hit. Like, wide receiver 2 in the Sean Payton offense can carry value. Let's see here. I will talk. We already talked. I don't need to talk about. I really don't want to talk about the stupid Niners receivers again, but it's Ricky Pearsall so clearly now up there. I was hoping Jawan Jennings was going to get something, but I'm starting to be worried about his availability for early in the season here too now. So I actually worried about Jawan Jennings. You got to
calf injury.
Yeah, you got the injuries, you got the other things there. Ayuk doesn't look like he's going to play. I have absolutely no excitement. Sky Moore, honestly, I'd probably starting to think about taking George Kittle. I said I want him in the back of the 3rd round. I'm not really sure there's a difference between George Kittle, Trey McBride, and Brock Bowers anymore. Early in the 3rd round, late in the 2nd round, I could see it. So at least as long as Christian McCaffrey's healthy, which we talked about a million times, he's going to get so many balls thrown to him too. He could get 8-10 balls thrown to him the very first week, and it would not surprise me at all. And then let's talk Daniel Jones really quick. Are we out on A-Rich and everything? I saw him get moved in a dynasty league for a 4th round rookie pick.
I have been since last year.
Just
as soon as I saw him, I'm done. You can't complete 50% of the passes in the NFL. You cannot be a starting quarterback. I don't care how much rushing upside you have. You cannot be a starting quarterback. Daniel Jones isn't good either, but at least he completes 60% of his passes. Come on, man. You're a quarterback. You are not a running back. You need to be able to throw the ball, and you cannot. You cannot. One thing on 49ers and Kittle, I think the 49ers training camp one dropped yesterday. You'll like this, Corey, to back up your point there. So I asked about Kittle and is he going to get more involved in the passing game because, he usually stays in a block. And they're like, yes, because they brought in Luke Farrell to to block. And so it's opening up Kittle in the 12 personnel to stop being in line. So that is that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And with all the injuries,
someone's got to be there.
Feeding the ball, man. But yeah, I've been pounding the table for Pearsall for a while, and now like everybody else is too. So I'm like, damn.
Here's another question: is Tyler Warren more relevant as a sleeper with Danny Dimes? So when that happened, I messaged Joe and put it in the group chat. Like, are we actually changing anything? And we don't always do that, and he said, no, not really. The one person I moved up one spot was Tyler Warren. I considered moving Josh Downs up a spot just because we've seen how much, like I talked about Wan'Dale Robinson, because if there's one thing Daniel Jones loves, it's a check down. So like Josh Downs, Tyler Warren, I expect them to dominate in the lower third of the field. You could bump, like Alec Pierce is not going to do anything, I don't think, at this point. Not that he was ever that exciting for fantasy, but Daniel Jones does not have the arm to throw the 50-yard bombs that Alec Pierce loves. And while I want Michael Pittman to be good, I don't know if that'll work out either with Daniel Jones. So relevant is like a back end tight end one. Like I want him. I think I have him about 10 to 12.
I got him 11 right now, and I don't feel good about it. Let's be real. I really don't. I could easily throw Goddard, Kincaid, Jake Ferguson above him. Like I don't know what to think about Tyler Warren. I know he's got the talent, but yeah, the team around him is just kind of meh. So
where do you
Kyle says my concern with Daniel Jones is that he's so bad at producing touchdowns. Absolutely.
Lowest touchdown percentage, I believe, in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. Also, probably the highest efficiency in taking off for broken pocket runs and then running 80 yards and fumbling.
Whoa!
And falling out of space.
I did 19 and 20.
Wow, talk about a hater. I was getting called a hater here. Like,
yeah, that's steep, man. That's steep.
Did you like last week when we did the mock draft? I don't remember. Was it like the 7th or 8th round or so? You took Quinshaw Judkins because that was like days after we heard he might be back. Now I feel like we're back to. I don't feel so good about it anymore.
Nope. I would absolutely. I need to go like put notes on the description there. Be like, just kidding.
I think we're right back to where we were because
I still have him at 36. I still have him at 36, but I probably need to adjust that again. It really, I mean, Browns are looking to sign to trade for a running back, so that's just signs that it's just not going to happen right now. And I mean, I guess what is it? Did I hear he's asking for guaranteed money? Like he wants his whole contract or something like that. Like that sounds absolutely insane.
So Jaden Higgins was the first ever second-round pick to get a fully guaranteed contract. And because of that, now all of the second-round picks ended up getting guaranteed contracts. And he said, I'm a second-round pick. Now, the Browns are, for once, doing the smart thing and saying, well, we gave up the worst guaranteed contract in the history of the NFL to a guy named Deshaun Watson. And we'd like to not do that again. And so they don't want to guarantee his contract, which I would not do in a million years for a player like that who's got that hanging over his head. So maybe they will make the right choice. But right now, I'm back to don't touch Quinshaw Judkins at all.
I'm zero interest for me.
It sucks because right after that, I was up in best ball and like he was sitting there and like it was in a range where it's like if he did sign, there's no chance he'd be there in like a day or two. So I was just like, all right, I'll pull the trigger, and I did it. And I'm like, well, damn. And the rest of the team is stacked, and I'm just staring at Quinshaw Judkins. I'm like, you're gonna ruin this team.
Oh, man.
All right. Yeah. A little longer than usual, but lots of good information. And,
the ranking show usually is long. It's good, though.
We need the official winner, Joe, or AJ. Who's the official winner?
I already said Kyle was the winner.
Kyle, with your rookie tight end.
Yeah, well, and plus he took over my team in the dynasty league and thanked me for having the dagger skinny Batman. So again, you're welcome, Kyle. Thanks for listening and joining us tonight. Everybody else in the chat, Zach, Nana Boo Boo, thank you. Albert, as always, thank you. Patrick, thank you guys for being here. It's much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, do all those things, and follow us where you can on the socials. And have a good night.
All right. Peace.